Hey,
Hey, good evening. How we doing, Mike? Wow, you know what? I don't know if it's clear on my end or on your end, but it's kind of pixelated on my end. I don't know.
are you a little
But on
pixelated? I had a little buffer problem there. I, for some reason,
yeah,
wasn't picking up the videos, but that was weird. But
what the
yeah,
world? Yeah, now I see that your end is pixelated over on Rumble too. So hey, anyone, chime in and let us know how things are looking for Mike and me because I look fine here as far as the picture, but you never
yeah.
know. Hey, Gene, good to have you with us. Hey, fellow MVEs, we got Doug. Hey, Doug is down in that Box Elder area, and Brian Warner. Great to have everybody on board tonight. Everyone's just starting to come in. I understand it's a beautiful evening, so I kind of halfway expect there to be fewer viewers tonight, and I understand
I
that.
don't know
So
if you're driving around, put us on your phone, put us up on the dash, and keep
just do it.
going. That's
Yeah,
what I say.
I've done
That's
that.
what I do.
Yeah,
I listen to Jamie's show while I'm driving around and watch it while I'm driving. So yeah,
sounds good.
701 Nation. Yeah,
Okay, well, everyone's chiming in. They're like,
there we
Mike
go.
is blurry and I'm clear. So, hey, I guess that's the way
That's
it
a,
goes.
with this face, blurry is probably a good thing. Maybe I'm a witness protection program now. That'd be good.
Maybe, right? All right. Well, we better get this baby started off like we do every single week. So, why don't you take it away, Mike?
A well regulated militia being necessary to security of a free state, the rights of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed.
There you have it. Each and every week. Each and every week. Hey, Lynette. Hey, Dan. He's over there from the western edge again. Good to have everyone around. Hey, Dan, you got any snow left? Our snow's about gone. I don't know if you guys got hit like we did, but things were looking good. I know I showed earlier. I showed Mike my new camera, so you got a good clear picture of the cows, didn't you?
Yeah, I did.
And
Yeah,
there was
you look like
hardly
you've
any
been busy
snow.
this week.
Very busy this week and weekend, last weekend, and just a rash of things going. There's a lot of things going on in our lives. I guess is a way to say it. I know I'm going to be running back to Minnesota here at some point this month because they're going to be having the funeral for my aunt. She was cremated, so they're going to set that up so that everybody it worked for everybody to attend. But yeah, so sorry to lose her. I'm very close to her. Spent a lot of time with them guys, but
Well, my
you know
uncle
what?
Butch passed away this week too, and so that was kind of tough. But I haven't seen
Yeah,
him in a while. But yeah, it's tough when you lose family members.
it is. I was very happy I was able to spend some time out there before all this happened, and it wasn't by design. That's when my sister in law was having her heart surgery, and I look back at all these events and especially after what you saw in the news with the Biden administration and what happened at Easter, God does exist. He truly does, and I know that all those events happened because of that one particular reason led to another. And I guess now I know. Now I know why all that was going on. So
Yep.
it's just the way it goes. I don't really question it. Dan says his snow is pretty much gone. DJ, that's Doug. He says that's what I do with the phone. I put on the dash and put it over the stereo. I've learned finally how to Bluetooth in my own pickup, and I can thank David
Yeah.
Fetting on our trip to Florida. We figured out how to connect it. So yeah,
Well, you have a little newer vehicle than I have. I'm on the vintage. I gave my good truck to my son, so because he works harder than I do, and so
well, we got a good show for everybody tonight.
we
We're
do.
going to be touching on the NRA big victory in court down in Texas again, by the way. And it kind of follows suit on what happened with Gun Owners of America and the pistol braces, things very similar to that. Military vets, really anti-Second Amendment. Have you ever heard of anything? We're going to touch on that. Blount, is that how you pronounce that? Blount versus
Blount,
the U.S.
Blount. Yeah.
Blount. Okay. And that case was dismissed. We're going to talk that. And what about Mexico, Mike? I mean, really? What are we going to be talking about on that?
Well, we're going to be talking about the fact that the Mexican president is got his hands in deep with a district judge in Arizona and trying to invade in his own way by trying to get money and extort it out of gun companies in the United
Yeah.
States.
Yeah, it's so we're going to be delving into that a little bit here and then trying to cover that for everybody. And then, of course, I got a happy ending, a little different type of happy ending this time. We'll talk about that when we get there. And then what? Tell me what you just got done putting together a pretty cool little segment, and I really
I put
liked it.
together the new the Guns in the 701 Badass of the week, and
Yeah,
we went a little outside the western side, but we're going to go ahead and he's a Canadian, but he's badass nonetheless. And I've got a bunch listed that I'm going to be putting together here soon, and we're going to release these. We're going to play them on Wednesday nights and during the show, and then we're going to release them on to our social medias on Thursdays, so you can watch them again if you miss them. So it's going to be pretty good.
Yeah, it's just something new we're going to be doing. Basically, kind of, for one, use this platform a little bit more that we subscribe to and have to the service we use for podcasting, and put some different things out there during the week so that you can either see it live, because I think that's the easiest way to do it. Take it right from our storage, do it, put it out there live. When it's done, it'll be done. We won't be manning it necessarily. You're able to actually schedule it, I see. So we're going to try one of those. Try to put out a few things just so everyone can see it, see what we're doing, see something different rather than just me and you talking all the time. I guess that's.
And Clay gave me some new editing toys, so I played around a little bit. So I had way too much fun doing my regular job.
Yeah, we'll get you some better equipment too. So
we'll be up to date.
And then, in the evening, probably, I imagine we're going to talk a little bit. Jamie's going to be coming out there with Scott Buckmeyer on 701 Nations. We'll talk about that. And then we also got Drinks with the 701 coming up, and that's in 2 weeks. I also am going to be on a show on Monday next week. I don't have all the details yet, so hopefully I'll have them by Friday so that I can actually tell everybody what's going on. But I'll send this gal a message and see if she's got all the details. But I'm going to be on at noon my time, it's Mountain Time, with her, and she's out of Grand Forks, but I don't remember the name of the show. And I think we're going to talk guns and the Second Amendment. So
there we go. A few things that you know.
Yep. All right. Well, with that, let's get started, huh?
What do you want to start with first? Do you want to start with this ruling with the pistol brace?
Go for it. Do you
want? Well, the ATF can't go after NRA members, and that's also some other gun membership owners as well, of course, with the pistol braces on them. That has been decided. The outcome of a preliminary injunction issued by federal judge on Friday, U.S. District Judge Sam A. Lindsay, sided with the gun rights group and enjoined the federal agency from enforcing its rule reclassifying pistol brace equipment guns as short-barreled rifles, which is dumb just to begin with. Little piece of plastic, and it's classified as its own rifle. But yeah, the decision keeps any NRA member who owns a brace gun from facing six-figure fines or imprisonment if they don't register their gun by last year's deadline. Now, something most gun owners did not do, because I think they knew this was going to be overturned.
Basically, what happened there is pretty much what I expected. People were not. It's kind of like the bump stock thing. People did not comply. They did not turn them in. If they destroyed them, they didn't tell anybody. It was just mass, ignoring the rule.
A lot of them are lost in boating accidents. I know.
Yeah, mine didn't. They can just cram it, as far as I'm concerned. But as far as this pistol brace ruling, it kind of emulates exactly what happened with what happened with Gun Owners of America too. So, yeah, I don't know. And I guess I look at it right now as that it's a piece of plastic. It's not an NFA item that you should have to register with the ATF in their National Firearms Act office, pay a $200 tax stamp just so you can possess it. It's ridiculous. And literally, it's a piece of plastic, guys. It's really nothing.
Yeah.
But it allows you to put it up here against your forearm, and then, supposedly that makes it a machine gun. I mean, think about this. And this goes over decades of change. It actually counters decades of rulings and interpretations by the ATF that said, no, those are not NFA items. Mm-hmm. And then, boom, Biden's communist nation status comes in, and his bureaucracy, and all of a sudden we have this big change. It's ridiculous. It's just plumb ridiculous.
Well, it's no different than like we were talking about after the SHOT Show this past year. All of a sudden, all these different Bloomberg type articles came out talking about how the new and endangering weapon out there is the lever action. Remember that? Yeah. And you're like going, lever action's been around quite a while, yeah, but because it's
a while.
because of course Smith and Wesson and a bunch of others are reissuing out, a brand new style. It scares them because like we joke around with it all the time, but somebody finally watched The Rifleman and they got scared. So
Yeah, I mean it's when you look at the lever action rifle and people thinking that's new. I mean, there's new things happening with the lever actions. You're starting to see them come out with a pick and tandy rail on them. You're seeing a lot of different things, a lot of new technologies coming on. I mean, you never used to see a scope on a lever action per se.
no.
Now you're seeing red dots. I mean, you're seeing scopes, red dots. It's great. I love the lever action, and why not use a little of that new technology?
And I
Right?
use, when I go to the Black Hills, I use the 30-30 Marlin that I have because, one, in the hills, you don't have long shots. You've got trees galore, so I'm not scoping it as much as possible. And and so the red dot to me makes more sense. I mean, to me, it makes perfect sense for that type of thing. And
Absolutely.
you got certain guns you use to go to certain places to hunt, and that's kind of one of mine as well.
Oh, I love the lever action. In fact, I took my 30-30 hog hunting, guys. That's pretty much all I took. I took my Swift and my 30-30 with me and a couple handguns. I had every intention to shoot a hog with a 30-30. It just didn't happen for me, which that's fine. But that I want to shoot one with the 30-30. It's an iconic gun for one, and I just want to do it. Hey, I want to say hi to everybody over on our Rumble channel. Thanks for tuning in over there. You can't comment here, but I am monitoring the comments on there. So if you want to participate in the live chat, go for it. And we appreciate you picking us up over there on Rumble. So thanks a lot. I appreciate it. We all do. All right. So getting back to the pistol braces.
Right.
I don't know. Did you read any of the judgments? So this all started back in 2023, really.
Right.
That's when all this got its start. Basically, everything was filed in the Northern District of Texas, July 3rd, 2023. And it was filed against the ATF, the U.S. Department of Justice, and Stephen M. Dettelbach. Oh, I'm surprised Jamie ain't tuning in on that one, but I think he had something going on tonight. That's the guy that if you saw the video, he was talking about clips and Glocks and couldn't. Yeah, that's your guy.
Well, I think he was in front of some Senate hearings recently, and they asked him what your experience was on guns, and he didn't have it. He's like, well, I don't really know much about guns. Well, why are you in this conversation, dude?
Well, he's in it because he's an anti-gunner. That's what Biden wanted.
That's true.
And I mean,
well,
I could not believe this when I was watching that video. That was just insanity itself. This is the guy that's in charge of the Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms alphabet agency that oversees firearms, and he doesn't know anything about them. But that doesn't surprise me.
Right.
Anyway, on March 29th, U.S. District Judge Sam Lindsay agreed that with the NRA that it has an associational standing to pursue a case because of its traditional membership organization, whose members rely on the NRA to protect their gun rights. In other words, the NRA is the voice of its members. Gee, no kidding. Just as any of the organizations, whether it be Gun Owners of America, Second Amendment Foundation, the Suppressor Association of America, I think is what they call it. Pick your organization. Generally, if you belong to something, you're doing that so that they can serve as your voice.
Right.
On a larger scale. And it's nothing new, probably falls within the traditional means of Second Amendment uses as far as for free speech, First Amendment. I mean, it was the right decision. Also, Judge Lindsay applied the Fifth Circuit's earlier holding in Mock versus Garland that the ATF failed to go through an appropriate notice and comment period before ensuing its pistol brace rule, making major revisions to the rule without acknowledging the hundreds of thousands of negative comments from the NRA and its members across the nation, rendering it likely unlawful. And it wasn't NRA members. Like I said, pick your firearms protection organization.
Group.
It was just, I did read a bunch of them because you could read them all on there. It's just like anything else when they do it and they take public comment. The negatives against it were overwhelming. I mean, there was a few of those positive ones that were in support of it, but for the most part, it was probably 3-1. I figured when I was looking at that, and I might even be a little conservative on that. I do love the fact that new NRA Charles Cotton, he's the president. He said, "This is a major victory for NRA and its members who believe in the Second Amendment and freedom. From day one, we vowed to fight back against President Biden and his rogue regulators to defeat the unlawful measure. Hence, guys, that's why I'm wearing my NRA hat tonight. I think that it was a huge victory. Yeah, I mean, we've been stacking them up. We've had some losses, but for the most part, we made some huge strides in the court systems from the Supreme Court on down. And I think it's a good thing because depending on how
And
the
they've been
election
hitting us.
goes,
They've been hitting
give
us
us,
in every direction, in every state, at every
Yep.
level. And yeah, they're
Absolutely.
trying.
And what this does, guys. Now, I don't know how many actual members there are in the NRA. Even when I worked there, it was estimated around 5 million.
Right.
And I know they didn't give us a true number on purpose. We don't really want it's a private organization. If anyone doesn't understand that, they don't have to let anybody know who their membership is or how many, but they can give you a number. And I imagine now it's over that 5 million mark. I know that, especially with some of the changes that took place, a lot of people have come back to the NRA, so that's good to see. But whether you like the NRA or not, the NRA is the 10,000 gorilla in the corner. They just are. They're the 10,000 pound gorilla in the corner. And without the NRA, since 1976, you wouldn't have anything anymore. It's that simple.
Yep.
So, if you're not a member, you should be a member, even if it's just a yearly membership. And if you are able to, do the higher ones and become the life member, the patron member, the benefactor member. I am, my kids, everyone in our family is life or more in the levels of membership. And I can tell you right now, that's fundamental to have the NRA. We got zapped by YouTube again, Brian. What did we do? That's interesting. We got kicked off YouTube.
We were on, but I guess we're not on now, huh? Okay.
I guess not. And this time I have no clue why. We weren't showing nothing bad that I knew.
Well, anytime you're on, that's probably when it gets somebody a little upset. But yeah, we'll see.
I mean, it's interesting that they zapped us on YouTube yet again. So, guys, if you're not seeing it, you can go to my own personal YouTube. That's Clayton Peterson. And Mike's got his on there. I think, Mike, you're under Michael Deacons.
Yep.
Hit Rumble. You can find us on Rumble. Or you can go right straight to the website, everybody. That's why we're losing. I see we're losing viewership. Well, they zapped us on YouTube. And that is interesting because I have no clue why. No clue why. We're still on Facebook, too. Go over to Facebook and hit that. So I don't know why we got zapped, guys. I really don't know what happened on our YouTube.
Yeah, we were on, but we're off now. I see that. So, yeah. Well.
Unbelievable. And this time I have no clue why. Facebook is.
Yeah, we were on, but we're off now. I see that. So, yeah.
There we go.
Well, no, we were on. I just pulled us up. So we're on. Maybe we were off for a little bit.
Well, anyway, as far as the pistol
my face was pixelated, and they thought I was a terrorist for a while.
Yeah, YouTube, CommuTube's getting so horrible. They really are, and I imagine we're on their radar now. I noticed a few things on there lately. They're actually going back again through our old stuff. I'm talking some of the stuff almost 2 years old, and they're not giving you a violation, but they're making a statement that, hey, you know what, guys? It's like, kiss my butt. I don't care. That's why we developed our Rumble channel, and I see we got quite a few people. I suppose you guys went over there, and I'm glad to see that. We got God Save Our Republic. He said, checking in from Minnesota. Great show so far. Thank you very much. That's over on the Rumble channel. So go over to Rumble, check it out. I can tell you right now, eventually what's going to happen here, I imagine YouTube, as we get closer to the election, I imagine YouTube's even going to get worse on this kind of stuff. And you know what? They can just take a big old middle finger and stick it.
Well, if YouTube goes completely down for us, there's always OnlyFans. We can always do that.
I didn't even know what that was, Mike. I had to find out.
It's probably better that you didn't. It's probably better that you didn't.
Anyway, I had no clue. And now I know what it is, but I never went there. But I did have someone tell me what it was, but I do not know what it is. Well, I do now. But getting back to what we were talking about.
Yep.
I really am glad to see this ruling. It really emulates exactly what has happened with other organizations, except I would say that NRA is the biggest one now to achieve this as far as membership goes. I would have to agree with that. And it's going to be huge. I mean, this is a big deal. Now, we'll see what happens. I'm sure it'll be appealed. I'm sure the feds will appeal it. We'll see how it works its way. But I don't know. I mean, I think when it gets to brewing, if they get to the Supreme Court level, historical use, it's never been banned. And there's a record of it never being banned. And there's records of the ATF saying, nope, guess what? We're not going to say that it's an NFA item. So all of a sudden, with the stroke of a pen, it is. I think your Supreme Court's going to say, no, wait a second. Historical use has said it's not an NFA item, and I think that's where we're going to go with it. So that's my 2 cents on it.
Well, I agree with you, and I also agree with you that the NRA and other gun groups don't have that are private don't have to release the information, and I'm glad they don't, because there's enough of the left out there trying to go on after everybody, for just having bumper stickers or the hat or whatever else. And you know what? I don't need the crap from that, and they do, and I think that some of the administration uses those lists when they get a hold of them too to try to influence people or push people around. And, so it's, keep it private. That's fine with me. I'm all right with that.
Oh, I am too. Absolutely. I'm actually in here right now taking a look, guys, at supposedly what we did. And it doesn't even really tell me. So
yeah,
I really can't tell you what it is. It says April 3rd. Doesn't even say what. It says violence or graphic content. Really?
It was a black licorice.
It must have been. Had to be.
That's what it is. People just hate black licorice. That's why.
Oh, it's just the hell with them. I just don't care. Yeah, well, go over to Facebook. Brian Warren says, mine says you violated policy on violent or graphic content. That's what I just seen. I don't know what that would be. Don't care. Like I said, if you want, head on over to Rumble. Check out the website, gunsinthe701.com. I know it's airing on there. I believe we're on Twitter feeds. I think it's working. I think we are. Out. Yeah. Looks like just JD Nation is. JD701 Nation. Go over there. That one's up and running. So, yeah, you can find us about anywhere. I don't know what's going on with the other stuff. You can find it on my own personal page on Facebook as well as Mike's. You can find me on YouTube, guys, at my personal page, and that's pretty easy to find as well. With that, I think we better do some diligence and thank our sponsors. You want to roll that, Mike, and let's pay some bills.
Let's go ahead and pay some bills here real quick, and I just got to find the button to do so.
Oh.
So,
okay.
Where is the button to do?
Well, it should
be. There it is.
For the world of firearms at Bismarck's Double H Gun Shop. With a wide range of products from handguns to rifles, we cater to all your shooting needs. We are your local gun experts. Not only do we sell firearms, reloading supplies, targets, and whatever your heart desires, but we also have a ton of knowledge and answers. We shoot, we hunt, we compete, we reload. It's been the Howard's way since 1976, and we ain't fixing to change anything. Visit our website at hhgunshop.com to browse our inventory. Double H Gun Shop, Bismarck's best new and used firearm reloading supply, gunsmithing, and sporting goods store. Double H Guns. Double H Guns. 1021 South Washington Street, Bismarck, North Dakota. Call 701-223-4888.
Go.
Located at 309 South Washington Street in Bismarck, North Dakota. Give them a call at 701-258-6308. The team of mechanics at Lauer Auto can take care of any problem your vehicle is having. And when you do business with Lauer, you can be assured you're doing business with a pro Second Amendment America First repair shop. There are plenty of other auto repair shops in the Bismarck-Mandan area. But why take a chance at patronizing a shop that might not have your beliefs at heart? Make no mistake. Lauer Auto is your pro Second Amendment repair shop. When you talk to the guys at Lauer Auto, don't forget to tell them that you heard they are a sponsor of Guns and the 701 and that you appreciate their support of our pro Second Amendment, pro North Dakota live stream and podcast. That's Lauer Auto Repair, 701-258-6308. 701-258-6308. Located 309 South Washington Street in Bismarck, North Dakota.
All right, and we are back. Hey, we changed our aspect here. Here, you're back. Hey, God save our republic over on Rumble, says Mike. Black licorice is the best. Same with
There you go. He's now my favorite one. My favorite listener. There you go. I love it.
There we go. I found what they were talking about, and I'll peel it. They showed a prairie dog that's blowing up that we've been using
my gosh
for 2 years. It says content that shows humans maliciously inflicting physical or psychological harm on animals isn't allowed on YouTube. We may make limited exceptions for the content. Oh my gosh. I mean, this is getting pretty ridiculous, everybody.
Yeah.
But they can kiss my butt as far as I'm concerned. We don't make no money on YouTube because they've made sure of that a couple times when we were getting close to being able to monetize things, so they can go to hell. I can tell you right now, Rumble, if you're watching on Rumble, we can monetize that stuff, and we've made a little bit, but that ain't why we do this. So as far as I'm concerned, if it gets to the point where they kick us off YouTube, whatever. It does not bother me one bit. We'll just go to the other places. And I encourage everybody, get over to Rumble. You can find us on Facebook, which is amazing that we're still there. And of course, we got our Twitter feeds, or X now. And then, of course, we've got the website. The website's always easy to find, and we are always there. No problems there. And we do get some viewers there. So anyway,
gunsinthe701.com.
I can tell you we will not be live. I'm going to appeal this, but we will not be live on YouTube, most likely, because they say it's going to be 1 week we can't go live. Go figure. Whatever.
Oh, whatever.
All right. Well, what do we want to cover now? I mean, we got so much stuff here to cover.
Well, we got Blount versus US, that petition denied. And we talked about it before the show. And of course, the big thing is that Mark Blount, he challenged the federal full auto laws with a very long complaint. And the judge dismissed his case because he thought the mere desire to acquire or make a full auto doesn't meet standing requirements. Blount appealed, where the Eighth Circuit summarily affirmed the dismissal without any briefing. Blount petitioned to rehear and got denied without any dissent. Now, the question that I have is, and this is one of the people below on the docket on this, posted some questions about this. So if he's reading this right, and this comes from Gracing Fool, that's his handle name. If you're reading this correctly, what it's saying is that he needs to illegally acquire and make a full auto. Someone somehow survive the ensuing ATF raid and be indicted, charged, and likely convicted, then appeal conviction up the chain to SCOTUS, because now he'll have standing. Bonus, if the rules don't go in his favor, he's effectively thrown away his life. So basically somebody's wanting to take something for the team. So that he doesn't have standing because he doesn't have one of the fully autos. Right. The only way you can get standing is if you have one of the fully autos, and that's committing a crime in their eyes. So it's a catch-22 that you can't get standing because you don't break the law. And that's the thing about us. We don't break the laws. We are the ones who uphold the laws. We're the ones that follow the laws. I mean, you know what? That's why we're always fighting to make sure that the laws that get passed are not as dumb as some of the ones that have been passed. Yeah. But that's one of the comments that I caught most right there that I really want to talk about.
Yeah, and you're right. Here's exactly what happened with that. You have to break the law. You were saying, to actually be able to challenge a law. And that's not unusual. And that's what gives you, quote, standing. That's why, right now, Montana's got the case with the gun-free zones. Well, you had to have somebody supposedly in violation. It's just like the 3D printing. Remember those? Well, the 3D printing, someone had to actually just, when they made that ruling, they went ahead and did it anyway, 3D printed a gun, and boom, we were able to take it to court. Up till that point, you could not go to court because there was, quote, no crime. How do you go to court with no crime? Essentially, that's where we're at. And that's what's happening here. And I think when you look at this entire case with the NFA, and I don't think NRA or anybody picked up that case, rightfully so, because it was a loser. It was the wrong avenue. You need to have a case that can win too before you go spend literally millions of dollars on it, especially to make. And
that's what they want. That's what the left wants. They want us to spend millions and millions of dollars on these cases that'll drain us.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the idea: is bankrupt the industry, bankrupt the organizations. They want you to not have a fighting chance. Well, luckily, the supporters of the Second Amendment are very generous people across the board, and we do have the cash to do it. Many organizations are able to pick up that torch and run, like NRA, Second Amendment Foundation. That's all they do. That is all they do. Judicial Watch is another one. They do a ton of this, and they do Second Amendment cases, but they do all cases. So we're out there. They're out there. They get the job done. But you got to have a case that can have standing, and you honestly got to have someone who's, for lack of a better term, willing to break the law,
right? So
that you can take it to court and put themselves up there. To me, those are the patriots who are willing to go out there. They break the law intentionally, really, to basically say no more complying, no more. We're done. And then you can go to court with it, and you can spend a lot of money doing it. But you want to have.
And the prime example that you give is the gentleman that put the 3D print gun things out on the web.
Yes.
You know, he just released information, and suddenly he's the enemy number one when the feds and everything like that were looking at him. So I'm like, boy, they really tried to play up how bad he was on the medias too. And I'm like, he just released information. I says,
Yes.
There's information out there galore. I mean, I don't know. It just baffles me sometimes. My own media, I mean, that's what I do. I work in the media field. Is that they play these games all the time with what they want to show and how they want to portray it, and it gets a little annoying. So, a little. That's my polite way of saying, annoying.
A little.
But yeah. Anyway, that's pretty much what I got on that one, and it's pretty. You're right. You're pretty dead on it. Somebody's going to have to fall on their sword on this one in order to take that up the chain to SCOTUS. And it's just, do you want to give up your family? Do you want to give up your freedom? You want to give up your time? You want to all your money and everything else? And it's a tough one. It is a tough one.
It is. I mean, and you're right. Someone's going to essentially have to take it up. And I think you'll see it happen now. I really do.
Right.
Because that's going to be the only way to do it. But we'll see. There's also, what do you want to say? Yeah, it's got to be the right time too. I don't know if this is the time to do it. I really don't. But who knows? Lynette, you got to look up the Shootist 93 at the Shootist 93 for my channel, and it is live right now on my channel. It's just CP is my name, but it's at the Shootist 93, and that'll get you guys over to the live that's going on right now on YouTube, because they didn't nix us there. So I guess my whole 9 subscribers on my personal channel, they're not mad or reporting us.
Yeah. Well, and on that too, on YouTube, it says mine is Scully Muldoon. It's my old radio name, and I just haven't changed it yet. So it's SCULLEYMULDNE. So yeah.
Yeah. I just shared the link. So if you're able to take that out of the comments, you can go there, and I will type in my handle. That'll get you to the YouTube channel as well.
There you go.
If you want to tune in over there, just go for it. And yeah, it'd be great to have. If you want to watch on CommieTube, you just can do it right there too. So I haven't logged into that forever. I had to actually go figure out how to do it and bring it up again.
What's my password? Yeah.
Yeah, I really kind of. He says Brian Warner signing up on Rumble now. Sounds great. And the guys, that's pretty easy to find. You just got to go over there, and I think you can just search guns in the 701. I think is what you can do. I really couldn't tell you. I don't ever do it. But if you're not able to find it that way, look for the Shootist 93. When we were setting that up, it was brand new to me, so it ended up getting set up under my own personal account, and we've got too many people following and doing stuff there that I never changed it. I just created a channel under that. So just find the Shootist 93, search that. You see a picture of me in my beanie and my hunting gear, and yeah, you'll know it's me when you see it. And then look for guns in the 701. All right. Well, I guess just to wrap up on that case, it's like you said, unless someone's willing to challenge it, and it's got to be the right time to challenge it and move forth with it, nothing's going to happen with it. And you got to remember, there's precedent going back all the way to 1934, guys. So it's going to be a tricky case. They're going to make sure it's the right one. The best thing is if we could just actually get the right people in Congress and get rid of the National Firearms Act. It's unneeded. It's been there since 1934. We're celebrating, 90 years of it this year?
Capone is not coming back. Capone is not coming back, so no.
And they didn't stop anything. I can tell you right now, they didn't stop anything. If you want to get something fun and cool, it can be done. There ain't nothing stopping it. So I guess that's that.
Well, we got a couple other things I want to take a look at. Of course, this one is not a story that came out in regular news. It was on the pro gun page on Reddit, and it made me think a little bit, especially when I went through some of the comments. But a guy says he saw a military veteran in social media that are anti-gun and who believe that only the military and police should have guns. What do you think? Can a guy simply lie, or is he a veteran, but just someone who served the military but wasn't a veteran, especially a non-combat role or some aspect like that? And there's a lot of comments on that as well. It's like there's kind of a separation, I think, in the military of commissioned officers and the regular soldiers. And I think that a lot of commissioned officers may have fired their weapon for testing and this and that, but don't see much time using it for anything else, and therefore don't even understand what it's all about to have to protect your life and maybe take somebody else's in a military combat. So it's a weird one. I got a lot of great comments out of here that I highlighted, so we'll go over some of them. But yeah, what do you think?
Well, when you look at the difference between regular serving men and women versus officers, right there, it breaks that down. The idea that military people think that military men and women shouldn't have firearms or civilians shouldn't have a firearm, really? I think you better double check yourself and make sure you're in the right country. As far as I'm concerned, are you kidding me?
Only soldiers and only military are allowed to have weapons. That's what they think. And they said one of the comments on here.
I imagine what they believe is that if you leave the military, then you shouldn't either, right?
That's what I'm guessing. Yeah.
I mean, really. So you were trained, and this is another wow. Just to think that there's actually people within the military that believe that the Second Amendment shouldn't exist except for military and law enforcement. Mm-hmm. We need to get them out of there. Them people need to be gone because they have no clue, none whatsoever, what our rights are about.
Yeah. This one commenter did officers tend to be more liberal and political or politician-like. I've heard this point of view several times from officers. So yeah, it makes sense.
There's people like Dan who listens to the show. Excellent officer. The guy I got so much respect for, and I just can't tell you enough. You know that he was part of our NRA program. He helped out a lot down there. And like I said, I got just the utmost respect for Mr. Dan Brown. He's retired, and I can't tell you enough of how the respect I have for him, and I truly do. I wouldn't say it if I didn't mean it. But I can tell you, I've met officers, and the ones that bother me the most are the sheriffs who are not constitutional. And Stark County's got a good. You're not to worry about Stark County over there by Dickens. You guys have a constitutional sheriff. You truly do. But the sheriffs should know better. They're elected by the people. And if they're against your Second Amendment, you need to get rid of them and throw them out of office. Seriously. They're there to serve you as an elected official by the people. That is the job of the sheriff, is to protect you first and foremost in your county. And if they're not doing that and they're taking orders from somewhere else, or they have an ideology that is unconstitutional, get rid of them, and get rid of them right now, because they are going to do you no favors in the end. Plain and simple. Hey, Doug Thompson says, he goes, remember, so we had one from east of Sturgis that hated the stuff we did with the Rapid City Friends of Area, and he's referring to a veteran. So, I mean, they're out there, guys, and it's not good. That's a bad idea. And I can personally say I've never really had a lot to do with anybody from the military, retired or active, who's ever been against what we were doing. Either they didn't want to approach me when I was working for the NRA, or they really didn't care. I don't know, but I never heard it directly much from them. There was those anomalies out there, but for the most part, they were very supportive of what we were doing and attended our events regularly, along with a lot of officers. So. Yeah.
Well, you have commissioned officers and you have non-commissioned officers, guys that rose up through the ranks. And that's kind of the difference you have right there. I want to comment on here. Somebody can attend West Point, get an officer rank, and commend others without being a veteran who served his way through the lower stages. And he says he indeed saw similar people. They were even making TikTok videos like, I'm a military officer who demands gun control. As a matter of fact, you can find that on TikTok right now. There's a lot of military people on TikTok throwing that out, that they want the gun control. So they're the ones throwing their voice behind it. And we talk about the influence of social media, and there you go. There's a prime example right there. I mean, what your kid's learning, you think you're hearing from a veteran or somebody, veteran. And it's not the same from somebody who served. I'm not a veteran. I served, but I'm not a veteran. I didn't, have to go over and go somewhere and put my life in danger and protect protect others and this and that, because
Right.
it didn't work out that way. So I don't consider myself a veteran for that reason. I mean, I have a friend of mine who served years in the Coast Guard and actually out on boats and all that, and patrolling for people doing drugs and all this other stuff like that. But doesn't consider himself a veteran because he didn't have to serve overseas, even though he was putting his life in danger out in the sea, going up against drug boats and stuff.
Right.
But
Well, and I guess I look at it this way: if you signed a document with your, you put your signature on a piece of paper saying that I will serve with payable with my life. I mean, that's what you did.
Mhm.
Now, even though you maybe didn't go, you still did that.
oh yeah,
So I guess I have the utmost respect for anybody that serves, because I never did it, mostly because I didn't like who was in office at the time. I didn't think I could serve him, and that
right.
was Mr. Bill Clinton. There was no way I was going to serve under that trash. I did look into it, but I never did it. I kind of wish I would have. I'm too old to do it now, but if called, I would do it. I got a lot more knowledge now. It'd be actually interesting and fun. Probably I just couldn't physically probably do it like that anymore. But I do have the utmost respect for those that do, because they literally saying, I'm signing this check payable with my life to
Mhm.
serve my fellow man so that I can defend the country, its institutions, its ideology as a constitutional republic, and the rights of United States citizens. I mean, do you think about what you're doing when you sign your name on there? That's huge.
Yeah,
And a
it's
lot of
big.
people have paid the ultimate price. Dave chimes in. He says, imagine that. People with guns think other people shouldn't.
Mm.
It's always that way too, Dave, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Not just there, go throughout history. Those with the guns try to disarm the others and say, you can't have guns. And they do it how? At gunpoint.
Yeah. Well, one story which I sent to you on email, which we didn't cover this week, is talking about Myanmar or Burma. The country's in a civil war right now. The junta that's in charge of everything, the military power, is in charge. Well, I just got to send you a story about how the rebels are making guns, 3D guns, in order to fight against the junta. So, I mean, it goes to show you. I mean, there are people that will fight for their rights, and they're fighting for their rights to survive and live. And they're going to do what they're going to do. Of course, you take away all their guns, so they had to come up with ways to make guns. They have to make homemade guns. They got to do everything they got to do. And you know what?
Yeah.
Admire them, because you know
Admire
what?
'em.
They're doing something that I don't know if everybody in the United States would jump to do if
Right.
pushed. I'm afraid more people would fall into line than just push back.
Yeah, and we've seen this. It's hard to say. There are areas that are just going to bend the knee and go, yes, I surrender. And then you've got areas that are out here in the middle of the country. It'll come down to who's got the fight, who's got the means, who's already they've been already hoarding the mean. You know what I'm saying? They have the skills and know-how. I don't think those people. There's a few in the cities, but most of those people probably left those populated areas. They're at least in what they would call a rural area, probably not what we consider, but they're leaving
Right.
them places and they're getting the states. You look at the maps today and how things are going. I'm telling you right now, a lot of people learning a lot of things old school so that they can put up a fight. And I'm glad to see that. I look at organizations like Turning Point USA with Charlie Kirk. He started that, and they've been going into these colleges and really making some inroads here in the last 5 to 10 years. They really have. They started out little, but they're huge now. And we're reaching those younger people. I have hope. I do have hope. And then you got people like me, my kids. Yes, I teach them to defy government control and tyranny. I teach them about the Constitution. I teach them and quiz them about their rights. I mean, I bet you my kids know them better than anybody. But you need to know that.
I got to tell you a quick story about Jackson, my boy. He's 16, right? I gave him my truck, and he's totally tricked it out to be his work vehicle. So a couple weeks ago, when the weather was good, he was driving around, and he put a new sound system in it, so it booms. It's pretty loud. And cop pulled him over and started laying into him about playing his music loud. And he says, I've already looked in the city of Mitchell, and there's no sound ordinance until after 11 p.m. And the cop was just like, Well, no, he said, yeah, he says you need to go look because that's what it is. I've already read it. And so, and my son was right. And, he got to drive away and know your rights.
Exactly.
Know your
Know your
rights.
rights. Know your rights. And I can tell you that we don't have a lot of the old school. Well, I would, they're not they're about law enforcement rather than being a peace officer.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of the older guys, they've retired, they've left, and they were there. They truly were there to serve the people, protect the people, and help them. I mean, they truly there. They signed up, kind of like in the military, really. Said, "I will defend you, I will help you, I will come to your need if needed." But we also want to have a peaceful and civil society, and they're going to go, and if you're doing the wrong thing, they're going to go and make sure you don't. Right?
Right.
I think we've seen this switch. I think you've seen this pendulum swing. Now we got people like, we made a law and we're going to enforce it wrong or right. Now, see, that's the problem.
Wrong or right.
They don't care anymore. They do as they're told rather than what they should. And sheriffs have a lot of discrepancy on that. I'm going to put up a comment. Dan Brown made a great comment here. He said, it is an unfortunate fact that there are law enforcement officers that believe that untrained citizens should have to have a government permission slip to possess firearms. And you're right, Dan. I watched it when I was up at the Capitol when they were working on constitutional carry. And law enforcement officers and organizations up there basically testifying against the bill, saying we're going to create the Wild West. Really? These are the people that are going into that. And that's sad. And, I remember Bruce Plate, and I'm sure Dan does too. Bruce Plate was an NRA rep before me. And he was also the chief of police in Vermilion. And like he said, he goes, yeah. He says, I like getting new recruits, but he says, I always got to deprogram them when they get down here. He says, they teach them everything as far as being a badass, But he says, they don't teach them any public relations. They don't teach them that you don't have to necessarily go after everybody for everything every time.
I had a guy talk to me the other day, and it was a good conversation about how we have all these these jobs and trainings that people to go into for years to train and apprenticeship and this and that to be good at their jobs, and yet we only put police in for 6 months.
I don't even know. Dan can probably tell you some more. I think it's a 6 to 9 month. I think there are longer courses, but I honestly don't know.
I think there should be. I mean, I'm not all about colleges because I think that a lot of them are just ripping our kids off. But I do believe that to be a police officer, you should go in for 4 years into the thing and have the full spectrum of learning negotiations and learning de-escalations, learning and protecting yourself and doing all that. And I understand that.
I think what's missing in today's new format is the public relations. Now, some of them are bringing it back. You have got to have the trust of the people to actually do this job too. I'm sure Dan can attest to that. Being an officer is tough. Think about that. You're the most loved and the most hated guy, maybe within hours of each other, right?
And this thing makes it tough.
And that thing makes it very tough. And you might see a clip of something, but it may not be accurate. And then you might see a clip of something that showed the wrong outcome. Even, how do you put it? The officer was in the wrong, but it showed him. They didn't show the rest of it.
Right.
And that's an issue. Don't believe everything you see on the internet. Don't believe everything you see people that get their little phone out and record it, because they're only going to show you what's their ideology. Put it that way. The maker of the movie is also going to be the one who tells the story. And don't always believe that. Talk to the people themselves. And, I've ran into some great officers. Now, everyone knows I could care less about a speed limit. I don't believe in speed limits. Never have, never will. I think it's a victimless crime. Nonetheless, we have them, and I break them. I don't care. Not afraid to admit that. Sometimes I meet some great guys. I've become friends with them, and they pulled me over. I ain't got a problem with that. And then I've got those that are just jackasses. It's like, really? Okay, I'm speeding. Pretty sure when I'm going 80, I know it. I don't say nothing bad. I don't do anything. I just kind of, and I don't care. I really don't care if I'm speeding. But don't be a dick about it. Be nice. I'll be nice back to you. And that's what we're missing. You don't have that public relations, and that is a public relations job. If there is one job that's public relations, it's got to be that one, because you are pulling people over, most likely going to give them a fine, and they're not going to be happy about it. So be nice. You might be surprised. I mean, I've walked away with a $100 ticket. Yeah, I didn't like it, but guess what? I was speeding. I didn't argue. I was doing it. Took my ticket. Talked with the gentleman. In fact, he knew who I was as far as what I did, and it was actually a great conversation about the NRA. So I actually, it kind of pissed me off in a way because I was late getting to where I wanted to go for that day because I was having a good conversation with the gentleman. It does happen. So Gene Cox has got one up here. He says, I hope one of the police officers that thinks citizens should not have guns doesn't need an untrained civilian to help. Or a guy who shot the church shooter in Texas. Good point. And Dan's not in that camp. I know where Dan stands on this. And I know where Gene stands. And yes, there's a lot of us. I don't know. I mean, I've had quite a bit of training. I still plenty to learn. But I can actually defend myself and hit my target, especially in that kind of situation. And that's what you want to do when you're handling your firearm or your sidearm that you use for protection. So. Well, I'm not going to wear this subject out too much more.
No, that's pretty much what I had right there. That was all. That was pretty much it. You want to take a quick break and come back?
Yeah. I think we ought to do the badass. I think
badass of the week from the Guns in the 701.
I think it's a great thing, and you spent some time on it. I thought it was a great one. It's about 10 minutes long, everybody, so don't just run away. Listen to it.
These will normally be 5, but this man went through 2 wars being a badass. And so it took me a little longer to get all his stuff in there. But normally they'll be about 5 minutes. But yeah, the Guns in the 701 badass is pretty good.
So I tell you what, let's do a quick break. Thanks to sponsors. We can't do without them, like the great sponsors, Lauer Auto Repair down on 309 South Washington Street, Bismarck, North Dakota. You can reach them at 701-258-6308. And I'm telling you, Doug and them guys are fantastic. I've had vehicles in there, and they do a great job. Let's have a break, and then from there, we're going to introduce you to the new segment of Badass of the Week. So.
All right.
Cover the world of firearms at Bismarck's Double H Gun Shop. With a wide range of products from handguns to rifles, we cater to all your shooting needs. We are your local gun experts. Not only do we sell firearms, reloading supplies, targets, and whatever your heart desires, but we also have a ton of knowledge and answers. We shoot, we hunt, we compete, we reload. It's been the Howard's way since 1976, and we ain't fixing to change anything. Visit our website at hahgunshop.com to browse our inventory. Double H Gun Shop, Bismarck's best new and used firearm reloading supply, gunsmithing, and sporting goods store. Double H Guns. Double H Guns. 1021 South Washington Street, Bismarck, North Dakota. Call 701-223-4888.
Oh, I thought I was doing a double ad. I did not, evidently, huh?
No. Okay. Well, you want me to hit it? I can hit it.
Yeah, go ahead.
Repair located at 309 South Washington Street in Bismarck, North Dakota. Give them a call at 701-258-6308. The team of mechanics at Lauer Auto can take care of any problem your vehicle is having. And when you do business with Lauer, you can be assured you're doing business with a pro Second Amendment America First repair shop. There are plenty of other auto repair shops in the Bismarck-Mandan area. But why take a chance at patronizing a shop that might not have your beliefs at heart? Make no mistake. Make no mistake. Lauer Auto is your pro Second Amendment repair shop. When you talk to the guys at Lauer Auto, don't forget to tell them that you heard they are a sponsor of Guns in the 701 and that you appreciate their support of our pro Second Amendment, pro North Dakota live stream and podcast. That's Lauer Auto Repair, 701-258-6308. 701-258-6308. Located 309 South Washington Street in Bismarck, North Dakota.
All right. Yes. And again, like I said, thank you to every one of our sponsors, guys. We cannot do it without you. And we appreciate it each and every time we play that ad. That's why we do it, because we can't do it without great sponsors. So
there we go.
With that, do you want to give a quick little introduction as to what you're going to do here?
Well, we're going to be talking about Leo Major. And, of course, a true badass in every sense of the word in 2 different wars. It's got a little bit of time on it, but I'll tell you what, pay attention to the video as well. I threw in a little jokes here and there, but it's pretty good. So I hope everybody likes it.
So I'll go ahead and I'll play it and I'll maximize it. So enjoy this, guys. It's worth the 10 minutes. And like I said, they're probably going to go down to about 5-minute segments, but enjoy this.
Everybody, for gunsandthe701.com, this is Mike, and once again, we're talking about the badasses of the world that you might not have known about. But I'll tell you what, these guys and gals were truly that, badasses. Leo Major, born January 23rd, 1921 in New Bedford, Massachusetts, to French-Canadian parents. He moved his family to Montreal before his first birthday. Leo Major joined the Canadian Army in 1940 to prove to his father that he was somebody to be proud of. Spoiler alert! Major was serving with the Regiment de la Chandelière, which landed in Juno Beach in the invasion of Normandy on June 6, 1944. During the reconnaissance mission on D-Day, Major captured a German half-track by himself, because he had nothing better to do, I guess, so. The vehicle contained German communication equipment and secret codes. Days later, during his first encounter with an SS Nazi patrol, he killed 4 soldiers. However, one of them managed to ignite a phosphorus grenade. In the resulting explosion, Major lost an eye, but continued to fight. He continued his service as a scout and a sniper by insisting that he only needed one eye to sight his weapon. And according to him, he looked good as a pirate. That's not me, that's him. During the Battle of Scheldt in Zeeland in the southern Netherlands, Major and his friend Corporal Wilfred Arsenal were assigned to determine the fates of a company of recruits that had disappeared after being sent to capture a town. However, as Arsenal fell ill, Major went alone. Didn't tell anybody, just went. After finding the company's abandoned equipment and determining that they had been captured, Major entered a house to find shelter from the rain and the cold, and that's when he spotted 2 German soldiers walking along a dike. He captured the first German, used him as bait to capture the other one, and brought his captives not back to his base, no, he brought them to their commanding officer's base. The officer and his company, totaling around 100 men, surrendered. In a nearby group of houses, SS troops, witnessing the company surrendering, opened fire on them, killing 7 and injuring some others. Now, Major disregarded the enemy fire and continued escorting his prisoners to the Canadian front lines, ordering a passing Canadian tank to fire on the SS troops behind him. He marched back to camp with the surviving 93 prisoners. 93! You gotta think about it. What did you do today? I mean, that's just a day for this guy. Now, in February 1945, Major was helping a military chaplain load corpses from a destroyed Tiger II tank into a universal carrier in Keplen, Germany. After they finished, the chaplain and the driver seated themselves in the front, while Major jumped in the back of the vehicle. That's when the carrier struck a landmine, resulting explosion killing the chaplain and the driver and knocking Major unconscious, also sending him into the air about 30 feet. Upon regaining consciousness, he awoke to find 2 concerned medical officers trying to assess his condition. They transported him on a truck to a field hospital 30 miles away, stopping every 15 minutes to inject him with morphine to relieve the pain in his back, which later we would find out was broken. Now his commander says, "You're done. You get to go home." So Major did what anyone else would do. He went AWOL. He escaped from the hospital, ran back to his own platoon, and took up his normal job of killing Nazis. How he wasn't arrested for AWOL, I don't know, but then again, yeah, it was a different time. At the beginning of April 1945, the Regiment de la Chandelière, I said that wrong, but that's all right. Those guys were approaching the city of Zwolle, which had shown to have a strong German resistance. Now, on April 13, the regiment commanding officer asked for 2 volunteers for a reconnaissance mission into Zwolle, their task being to scout the German forces and, if possible, make contact with the Dutch resistance. This before an Allied artillery barrage could commence. Now, Private Major and Corporal Arsenal, they stepped forward and accepted the task. However, Major and Arsenal, wanting to spare the city from destruction, decided to keep to themselves that they were going to liberate the city by themselves. That night, Major and Arsenal entered the farmhouse of Hendrik van Gernen, who gave them rough positions of German encampments near the railway tracks. After leaving the farmhouse, Arsenal was killed by German fire after accidentally giving away the pair's position. Now, Major killed 2 of the Germans, but the rest fled in a vehicle. Now, deciding to continue his mission alone, Major entered the Zwolle near Sassenpoort. Now, he was carrying 2 Sten guns and a big sack of grenades. Now,
Something about being prepared, right? Now, he arrived in the center of Seoul about 100 hours and found the streets silent and deserted. Then, he spotted a German machine gun nest, which the crew was sleeping. He promptly attacked and eliminated them. He then found the German scout car and forced one of the Germans, who he had captured, to drive through the streets with the lights on, flying a white flag. And for several hours, Major moved through the streets in this manner, shooting at any target he could find, making an impression that a large Canadian force had arrived. Now, by a stroke of luck, Private Major came across the head of local resistance Fritz Kuiper and 3 of his men. By now, the Germans appear to have fled the city in panic. The group, therefore, returned to the town hall, and the resistance fighters brought the citizens out into the streets. The local radio station was used to announce that the town had been liberated. Now, Major was exhausted, but he had to complete his mission by bringing back the body of his comrade Wilfred Arsenal. The resistance fighters arranged for a car to transport the body back to the Canadian lines to report the results of his mission to his commanding officer, who was probably slightly surprised that the town was taken by one man. Now, after the conclusion of World War II, Major returned to his former job as a good old pipe fitter. That's right, that's all he did. He made pipes. Yes, what does a pipe fitter do? He also took the time to have an operation to fix his back, which had bothered him since the landmine explosion back in February of 1945. You think? Now, then, the Korean War broke out.
The Canadian government raised a force to join the United Nations command in repelling the communist invasion.
Seems like it should be said that way, right? Major was called back and ended up in the Scout and Sniper Platoon of the 2nd Battalion Royal 22 Regiment of the 25th Canadian Infantry Brigade. Now, Major fought in the First Battle of Mariang-San. Hill 355, nicknamed Little Gibraltar, was a strategic feature, commanding the terrain for 20 miles around. So the communists were determined to take it before the truce talks came to an agreement that would lock each side into their present positions. Now, Hill 355 was held by the 3rd U.S. Infantry Division, who linked up with Canadians on the Americans' western flank. Now, on November 22nd, the Chinese 64th Army, about 40,000 men, began their attack. Over the course of about 2 days, the Americans were pushed back from Hill 355 by elements of the Chinese 190th and 191st Divisions. Now, the 3rd U.S. Infantry Division tried to recapture the hill, but without any success. And the Chinese had moved into the nearby Hill 227, practically surrounding the Canadian forces. Now, to relieve pressure, an elite scout and sniper team led by, you guessed it, Leo Major, was brought up armed with Sten guns, because you go with what you know. Major and his 18 men, wearing running shoes so they could be silent in their movements, passed through enemy lines and crept up Hill 227 from the Chinese side. Now, at a signal, Major's men opened fire, panicking the Chinese, who were trying to understand why the enemy's fire was coming from the center of their troops instead of the outside. That's kind of confusing, but hey, it worked, right? By 12:45 a.m., Major's team had retaken the hill. However, about an hour later, the 190th and the 191st, totaling around 14,000 men, launched a counterattack. Major was ordered to retreat, but refused because that's the kind of guy he was. He found a scant cover for his men, and they held the enemy off throughout the night. At times, they were so close to Major's position that his own mortar bombs were practically falling on top of him. Major and his platoon held Hill 227 for 3 days until relieved by the U.S. 3rd Infantry Division. Ladies and gentlemen, that guy is a badass. Leo Major died in October 12th of 2008 and was buried at the Last Post Fund National Field of Honor in Pointe Claire, Quebec. He's survived by Pauline Delacroix, his wife of 57 years, 4 children and 5 grandchildren, and to commemorate the 75th anniversary of the victory in Europe, Canadian Post issued a stamp in honor of Leo Major. That stamp, called the One-Eyed Ghost, came out April 29th, 2020. And ladies and gentlemen, I don't need to say it, but I will because it's the name of the show. Leo Sayer is definitely 100% a badass. Remember, support GunsInThe701.com with our shows, including 701 Nation and more. Make sure you check them out at our website and on all your social media platforms. And if you get a chance to go to our website and maybe pick up some cool t-shirts or merch, or even check out, of course, how you can just donate to us through the barcode, We'd love that because, podcasting ain't as cheap as everybody says it is. Gunsinthe701.com. I'm Mike Kelly.
All right.
Well, I hope everybody liked that.
I thought that was great. I hope everybody else did. I've seen some great comments in here. Gene Cox, he says there, arresting a soldier at the front for going AWOL to the front. He says, what are you going to do? Send him to the front?
I know.
Great.
We're going to send you to the front.
Yeah. Lynette says, really interesting. Great job, Mike. Dave says, hey, that was epic. Yeah.
There you go.
I think we're getting some good reviews there. Mike, I thought you did a great job. When I first seen it, when you sent it out to us for review, man, I was just like, we got to do it. We can't just delay it. We got to keep doing this. So,
there you go.
Dan,
well, like I said, most of the time it'll be like 5 minutes long, but this guy had such epic stuff that I had to throw it all in there.
You put you did a great job.
I had to cut a bunch of stuff that he did too. His commanding officer, or actually the commanding officer of the British Army, tried to give him a medal, and he said no. He thought he was such a pencil pusher that he wouldn't accept a medal from him. So
really,
that was pretty good. Yeah.
So God Save Our Republic over on Rumble says that was great. So we got a lot of activity over on Rumble, and glad we got everybody over there. So yeah, great. I thought it was good. I can't say enough about it.
Glad everybody liked it.
Excellent job. So,
all right. I know we were doing like some guys in the Midwest and everything like that, but I thought I'd branch out a little bit and just go badass and international.
Well, I loved it, Mike, because when we were doing that and we wanted to bring something back, it was fun. And I was putting together stuff, historically. Jamie was contributing to that. We had pictures, but we didn't have the music and the video and stuff. I thought, honestly, that pre-record, the way you did that, it was entertaining, informational, and I don't know. I think that's probably the format. If you guys want to chime in on it, just let us know, because I thought it was perfect. Brian Waters, that was awesome.
We're going to post that again tomorrow on our social medias as well, so you can watch it as a standalone. So yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah, I thought about going live with it, but I think with something like that, let's just upload it to the sites and go that way, go that route. Of course, YouTube.
That sounds great.
We're going to be able to put nothing on YouTube for a week, them commie bastards. So
that's all right.
But that's okay. We got other places. We can get it on Rumble, and we can get it on Twitter. We can get it on Facebook, our website. We can get it everywhere. So
there we go.
Facebook,
we got it.
All right. Well, with that, so I had a few other things going here. I mean, I don't know which one you want to go next. I mean, I got a happy ending yet. Let's see. JD says, did you guys get sniped from YouTube? We sure did.
Yeah,
this time it was an exploding prairie dog.
Yeah.
It says that it was malicious.
And that's been on for 2 years, right?
Yeah, that's the same intro we've been using for a long time. So I will get on there and appeal it, see what they do. I imagine when we had those idiots on there, they were going after Jamie on his program, remember? And I had to come down and actually axe all of them. Yeah. I imagine what's happening is that we're getting enough subs that we're starting to get the loonies too. And of course, they hate us. They hate what we do. They hate what we stand for. So they probably reported it or something.
Yeah, that's what they do. That's what they do. That's
Mark right. Evans says, very good, badass segment. Very professional as well. Salute to Leo Major. Thank you, Mark. And we appreciate you watching. Yeah. I'll tell you what, I think you did a great job, Mike. And Lynette says, Mike, you need to go make stops at schools and teachers. Yeah, those kids, school to teachers. Absolutely. I think they probably need it.
It's some good stuff. I mean, I enjoy it. And it's fun looking for some of these guys and girls. And I got some women out there, too, that are badasses that I'm going to cover over this as well. And it's pretty good. So hopefully I can surprise everybody again next week.
Sounds good. Well, we appreciate it. We'll try to bring it as often as we can. I don't know if we'll do it every week, but we'll sure do we'll see, right?
I'll see what I can do.
Yeah. JD says badass segment was great. I think you got a winner there, Mike. I really do.
There we go. There we go.
Well, I'll tell you what, we do have this Mexican president thing we should probably cover.
I'll hit that real quick.
Yeah, let's hit that quick like. Then we'll probably go to the happy ending, and we'll talk about what Jamie's got coming up on 701 Nation after that. How's that sound?
All right. Mexican President Andre Manuel Lopez Obrador. He thinks he can do nothing wrong. And after all, the U.S. federal courts are turning over sovereignty to the Mexican head of state at the same time that he's issuing ultimatums to the United States and thumbing his nose to Texas. What he's doing is U.S. District Judge Rosemary Marquez of the U.S. District Court for the District of Arizona, she ruled that a lawsuit brought by the Mexican government against 5 Arizona-based firearm retailers can proceed. Mexico claims that these firearm retailers are facilitating illegal firearms trafficking into Mexico. And they apparently think they have evidence of this. The Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms and Explosives probably are testifying against the gun companies, to tell you the honest darn truth. These businesses, of course, gun control groups backing Mexico's claims, crowing over the development. This is on top of the $10 billion lawsuit that Mexico is also bringing with the backing of the U.S. gun control groups against U.S. firearms manufacturing. So this is separate from what we were talking about. U.S. Court of Appeals and First Circuit revived a case in January after a lower court dismissed the claim. The irony is the President Lopez Obrador is issuing a list of demands to the United States and telling a U.S. court in the state of Texas law to fight illegal immigration would impinge upon Mexico's sovereign right to decide who enters the country. Wow. I just had to read that verbatim because I'm like going, yeah, it's a Mexican shakedown is what it is. And that's not me being racist. That's actually what it is. It's that they are trying. He can't control his own country. He can't control his own people. He can't control his own economy, which is in shambles. He can't control his borders. And what do? They're making money off the cartels. The government down there is making money off of the coyotes that are bringing people across. They're making money hand and fist on all this and pocketing it themselves. And the people are, you can't travel to Mexico anymore. You can't do like I did. I mean, I traveled through Mexico and then Guatemala and then all the way down through Central America and everything, and traveled as a traveling gringo, and you can't do that anymore because you'll die. I mean, it's the way it is. You'll just die. Or they'll do what they did to me. They'll throw you in jail and until you call somebody to get bail for you. But I didn't have anybody, so
basically extort money from you for probably no reason whatsoever.
They do that all the time, and that's what they do. And they say, "Well, he did this crime. Well, where's the proof? Well, we've already convicted him, so you can get him back for X amount of dollars."
Right, and that's ridiculous. What it's about. And we're getting to that point almost here too. It seems like, but this is just really. So our sovereign United States he's trying to dictate to us and shake us down, like you said. I thought that was a great way to put it. It's a shakedown by Mexico, absolutely. Mm-hmm. So this is all because of why? Because our government, the federal government, under the Biden regime, is allowing it. This doesn't have to happen. He can tell them to go cram it, like Trump did. And Trump actually had it under control. He really did. Whether people like that man or not, we had this under control. Let's remember what Obama did. He had Fast and Furious. That was a gun running and gun smuggling ring with guns that got out and actually killed our own Border Patrol agents. And now they're going to sue our manufacturers. Well, for starters, it ain't really the manufacturers. I guess it's the retailers. But I think that I'd have to go look at case study and make sure this is correct. But I believe that even the retailers are probably protected by the act that was passed that actually protected the lawful sales of firearms and manufacturing.
Well, what it is that, you can't come from outside the United States and come in and sue our companies here.
You don't have no rights here. I mean, you don't. And
that same logic is that if we go over, when we went over to Iraq and when we went over to any of those places, that people over there could sue us now because of the damage done to their homelands. And I'm like, that's a never-ending well of despair right there. So that needs not to happen. It needs to be stopped.
And this is what's going on though in the United States Department of Justice, and it trickles all the way down because everything leads up to the top, right? This is where we're at. I mean, they don't prosecute illegal aliens. Mm-hmm. They have no rights here, none. And then they get to our country and start suing us for different things. Like, you're not even a citizen. You don't have any rights here. You're not afforded any rights under the United States Bill of Rights or the Constitution. You have nothing. You don't belong here. Look, this country doesn't either. Mexico has no rights. They have no right to sue. anybody in this country. They're allowing it to happen. That's what happens when you have the
Well,
wrong people
on top
in
of that,
office.
on top of demanding $20 billion in what can only be described as patronage fees
Yeah.
to Latin American countries, the president of Mexico also wants work visas for 10 million illegal immigrants, an end to U.S. sanctions in Venezuela, and a halt to the blockade of Cuba.
Yeah. Oh, really? Well, why don't
So
you?
he has a Christmas list, and it's all, it's in his hands right there. And what is it?
And
One
I
hand-
imagine that what's happening here is they're pushing all of this right now because in what is it, about 5 months? That one, November-ish. Around
Right.
November, things are going to change, right? And in 9 months, we could have a new president. And I imagine that's why they're pushing this all now, because they do know that if the Biden regime is ousted, it's a whole new ball game, and they ain't gonna get away with this. And I imagine then Trump will even come after him for some things. And that's why they're pushing all this now, hoping to, like you said, shake us down for 20 million, or is that billion?
Well, no, 20
million.
billion.
20 billion
Actually,
dollars.
the firearm manufacturers for 10 billions, 20 billion is the other money
So
they
30
want also.
billion.
Yeah.
Basically, yeah. They can go pound sand.
And work visas for 10 million illegal immigrants. So they want to dictate to another
illegal
country.
aliens. They're illegal aliens. I won't call
Well,
them
they
immigrants.
they said, yeah, I just read it there. But they want to dictate to another country what to do. And I'm like going, okay, we could do the same thing.
Yeah, let's dictate to them. I mean,
We're going to back your border up 2 miles from where it is now, and anybody who enters in that area is there you go.
Gene Cox, and they need to get all of the illegals to vote. That's exactly what's going on with them. I mean, they want to give them guns. Get this. They want to give illegals guns now. I mean, I was going to cover that story.
I thought that was a fake story until I read it.
No, it was real, guys. And this was, we're going to save that. We will come back to that issue, but it was a real thing. I thought about putting on Mitchell in the Morning on Friday. We'll see. It needs to be talked about, but they want to give them guns. Think about that. They want to make them police officers and give them guns. We just talked about talk about a police officer that would have zero knowledge of the rights afforded to each individual in this country that's an actual citizen.
The Los Angeles Sheriff's Department is already doing that program.
Yes, they are. And they want to do it in Chicago as well. And I imagine New York. I haven't really looked, but I imagine any of these crazy towns. But yeah, maybe we need a crazy town segment. That'd be easy to do.
I don't know if I can spend that much time editing that all week, because there's too many.
Yeah, have to pick one segment, right? One of the 5 boroughs in New York. So, yeah, this is insane. I do like that Senator Chuck Grassley is demanding answers on it. He's demanding answers from 16 law enforcement agencies over a secretive project called FOR. It was designed to disrupt those known networks. They're talking about the cartels. And it was working until the ATF just pulled the plug, and about the same time, that's when Mexico brought their claims against the U.S. firearms manufacturer. A little coincidental there, isn't it?
Well, that and I like this. I mean, we've said this many times that the government when you're a government worker, you don't have to show any completed job. You get paid,
no results,
and have no results. And you can have billions of dollars thrown into a program, and then one day the ATF just cans that program and starts something different, and no results whatsoever. Now, if I do no results in my job, your job, or anything else,
I get fired.
We're fired.
Well, I'd have to fire myself nowadays. But yes, you'd get fired.
Well, Danelle would fire you. Danelle would fire you.
Oh, please. But anyway, we'd get fired. In the real world, if you don't show results, we'll have to find that clip from Ghostbusters. Remember that? I can't go to the private sector. They demand results when they were getting canned from the university. I thought that was a great thing to emulate what we see today when it comes to government and the jobs in government. I also got to point out here on this whole thing on the shakedown. So here's the Biden administration's response to this was basically nothing. Biden administration officials said President Lopez Obrador, is that how you pronounce that?
Yeah.
Has a very ambitious agenda. Guys on the podcast, in quotes, a very ambitious agenda. Really? You call that an ambitious agenda, huh? That official added that Congress would need to act, and let's just say very quickly, because most of you probably wouldn't know what this one means. The response really should have been rejection. No, Congress don't need to act quick on this. They need to just buck up and say, kiss our ass. Give the big old bird and tell him, no way, isn't going to happen. You get zero, nada, nothing. We are not going to have the Mexican government extorting money from the United States when you have no standing here. How about that?
Yeah, there you go. No
standing. And then he talked about Texas Governor Greg Abbott and their law to force illegal aliens to return to Mexico or face criminal charges. He chalked it up that the governor there is just acting that way because he wants to be the Republican vice presidential candidate and win popularity with those measures. You know what? I don't think that has nothing to do with it.
No.
Governor Abbott understands that his state is being invaded by illegal aliens, people that don't belong there. And the feds are doing nothing. So he's deporting when he can. He's sending them away, and he's stopping them with pretty much every tool he's got. So it had nothing to do with wanting to be president or vice president. He's just protecting the people of Texas, and that is his job and duty, just as the president should be doing to our own United States citizens, which he is failing at miserably. And that's why his numbers are in the tank. Economy sucks. Border sucks. He just eats his ice cream.
Not according to MSNBC. MSNBC can't say enough about how great he's doing. He's doing so wonderful.
I think they're all on meth.
You know, he woke up today and had 2 things of pudding. He was happy.
I watched some clips from there on the War Room, and them people are delusional. I couldn't believe the things I was seeing. So, yeah, I noticed that too. Hey, Brian, Mike is really clear now. YouTube is off, so Mike got clear. How about that? Hey, it must have been YouTube.
They must have been messing with me somehow. Yeah, I guess.
Hey, Grizz's Taxidermy, they are over there on, that'd be Eric Newman. He's over there on Rumble. Glad to have you over there listening as well. He says, it took him a while, but he says, me and my wife figured out. He says, I'm a low-tech guy, to get on Rumble. But, hey, welcome over to Rumble. It's just a good show. And, yeah, I think that we had some pretty good things. I really liked the segment you did. So, wrapping up this deal, let's just face it. Mexico has no standing in the United States or in our court system. They have no reason to bring a case. It should be rejected and throw it out, and eventually it will be. But the problem is it's actually going to cost some people some money before it gets through the right process to get this thrown out. They have no right. In fact, if they were suing me, I'd just tell them, I ain't paying it. What are you going to do to me? Problem is, this regime under the Biden administration, trickling all the way down to the states, they would probably enforce the darn thing because that's who we got today. That's who's in our system. You've got judges that are pushing ideology and not law. They have an agenda and they're not following the rule of law. And we do have a big problem with that right now. But they ought to just tell these guys to go pound sand.
Yep, pound sand. There we go.
And kick them the hell out. So that's what I think.
I do too. Well, we got guns701.com, and of course we've got Jamie with 701 Nation. He's got some big stuff coming up this week, or coming up actually Friday at 8, right?
Yeah, he's actually, a lot of you know, he's been on our show before. We've been on his as well. Jamie's going to have 701 Nation, 8 o'clock Central. Scott Buckmeyer from Dakota Prairie Outdoors is going to be joining. They're going to discuss their version of the Model 701 rifle. The one rifle for Nodax to take everything from coyotes to big muley bucks. Well, that could get interesting, couldn't it?
Yep.
That one, that's the old question is what's the perfect round if you could only have one rifle? So I'm looking forward to watching that myself.
That's going to be a good one.
Great segment and see what they come up with. I already have my idea, but I want to hold back and see where that goes. And
I'm going to learn something.
It's going to be a great episode.
Learn something that day. Yeah, there you go. So that's
going
to be a good one.
A few comments here. We got Dave chiming. He says, read the rules for the current 4473. It's very clear. They made it legal for illegal, I'm not calling them migrants, illegal aliens to purchase over the counter. And you're right, on that new 4473, they really did. They're doing this, guys, fundamentally. And I don't know. It's gonna take so much to undo all this. Brian Warner, that mic is really clear. Now YouTube is off. Now mic is clear. Coincidence? I think not.
Mm-hmm.
And then Dave chimed in, our court system is for people with rights. How does a non-U.S. citizen have rights? They do not. They have zero rights in this country. You can't even go to Mexico. Say you wanted to go to Mexico and live. You can do that. But did you know as a non-native born person, becoming a citizen of Mexico, you still cannot own land.
Right.
You are not allowed to own land in Mexico unless you were born there as a native citizen of the country. That's how strict they are. So, I mean, this crap that they think they can come over here and basically exploit our freedom. That's what they're doing. And they're going to be able to do it under old Biden. I mean,
we need to talk about some of the squatting stuff that's going on across the different countries right now. Of course, here in the United States and up in Canada, it's gotten really bad. But people have been abusing the squatting rights on that same situation. And so I've got an answer for that too.
I think we could make a segment out of that on another show, because it does bring into the Second Amendment, stand your ground laws and protection laws is what it's actually happening right now. So we're going to go a little bit long. Let's take one quick last break. Thanks some sponsors here. Got a couple of announcements after the next segment. We're going to do the happy ending, a couple of announcements, and then we're going to take the evening and call it a day. So,
you got it.
Located at 309 South Washington Street in Bismarck, North Dakota.
Give them a call at 701-258-6308.
The team of mechanics at Lauer Auto can take care of any problem your vehicle is having. And when you do business with Lauer, you can be assured you're doing business with a pro Second Amendment America First repair shop. There are plenty of other auto repair shops in the Bismarck-Mandan area. But why take a chance at patronizing a shop that might not have your beliefs at heart? Make no mistake. Lauer Auto is your pro Second Amendment repair shop. When you talk to the guys at Lauer Auto, don't forget to tell them that you heard they are a sponsor of Guns and the 701 and that you appreciate their support of our pro Second Amendment, pro North Dakota live stream and podcast. That's Lauer Auto Repair, 701-258-6308. 701-258-6308. Located 309 South Washington Street in Bismarck, North Dakota.
all right. Again, thank you to Lauer Auto Repair. We love the work they do, and we love the support we get from them. Hey, so God save our republic. Over there on Rumble, he donated $10 to us. Said, have a beer on me, guys. He says,
There you go. Thank you.
No Bud Light, though. Perfect. I love that. No Bud Light. Don't worry. I don't drink water anyway. So
Yeah, there you go.
I'm a whiskey guy, and I think I'm gonna be joining Jamie on their drinks with the 701 next time. So we'll see what we come up with there. But I'm kind of a whiskey guy. You kind of know that, don't you?
I'm hoping to join in that too, because although I don't drink as much since my heart thing, I do have a very large rye beer, which is like 15% alcohol,
There we go.
that I want to try. That's in my fridge. So
Yeah, no, perfect. I think that'd be great. So we'll talk to Jamie a little bit about that and see what the
Okay.
plans are. So, all right, guys, our next segment coming up is going to be this. Happy ending of the week. Jamie used to do this every week, but I picked up the torch and carrying it along there for him. But I did a little something different. I found a video, and I want to thank Grizz's Taxidermy, Eric Newman. He sent this to me. So this one's being brought to you by Grizz's Taxidermy, Shade Hill, South Dakota. And I think it's great. So we'll just let you watch the video.
don't forget, he's award-winning, Grizz's.
Award-winning. That's right. He's award-winning North Dakota Taxidermy Show. He got Best in Show, I believe, which is like the top award in the reproduction of fish. And it was pretty cool. I have to maybe get some pictures up here and share that with everybody. So, all right, guys, here we go with our happy ending of the week.
Sarah McKinley says the operator told her she couldn't shoot until the man broke into her home, and the stunning moments that followed were all caught on tape. ABC's Ryan Owens has the story.
I wouldn't have done it, but it was my son. I protect him.
This young mother takes maternal instinct to a whole new level.
I walked over and got the 12 gauge, went in the bedroom and got the pistol and put the bottle in his mouth, and then I called 911.
18-year-old Sarah McKinley killed a man, she says, to protect her 3-month-old baby.
I'm here by myself with my infant baby. Can I please get a dispatcher out here immediately?
Late on New Year's Eve, police say 2 men, one armed with a 12-inch hunting knife, were trying to break into her home outside Oklahoma City. McKinley recognized one of them as someone she thought was stalking her.
He was from door to door trying to bust in. They said I couldn't shoot him until he come in the door.
Are your doors locked? Yes, I've got 2 guns in my hand. Is it okay to shoot him if he comes in the store?
I can't tell you that you can do that, but you do what you have to do to protect your baby.
The teen mother killed the 24-year-old intruder the second he stepped inside. Police call the shooting justified.
You're allowed to shoot an unauthorized person that is in your home. The law provides you the remedy and sanctions the use of deadly force.
The second intruder turned himself in. McKinley was home alone that night because her husband just died of cancer on Christmas Day. While her son may grow up without his father, this is one little boy who will always know Mom will do anything to protect him.
I knew that I was going to have to choose him or my son, and it wasn't going to be my son, so I did what I had to do. There's nothing more dangerous than a mother with her child.
Okay, so this is a really, really wild story, but I will tell you, I've always fundamentally believed that the Second Amendment is for everybody. Every American citizen has the right to protect themselves and their family when they are faced with danger. In this young mother's case, armed intruders trying to break into this woman's home. Now, apparently, this is like, I read some stuff in the comment section, like when this video came out. Apparently, these guys were targeting this woman. Her husband had just died of cancer the day before, and apparently some of his cancer morphine medication was still in the house, so that could possibly have been a little bit about what they're targeting. And she says that this person was talking to her. Either way, she was fully justified and fully within her rights to protect herself, okay? The Second Amendment is for everyone. The Second Amendment is for everyone. The Second Amendment is for everyone. And what I cannot stand about people that make the arguments against the Second Amendment, they claim it, they cloak these arguments in quote unquote gun control. This is not gun control. This is disarmament. This is what they're pushing, is that they somehow don't want women like this young mother to be able to protect themselves. What was she supposed to do? This young woman was in rural Oklahoma. She's supposed to call the cops. She was on the phone with 911. Can you imagine if she did not have the ability to protect herself, and what she was supposed to wait, 10, 15, 20, 30 minutes for some police officers to get there? And those intruders could have done God knows what to her and that child? Absolutely not. And so I believe the Second Amendment is for everybody. I believe that every American citizen, male, female, black, white, gay, straight, I don't care who you are. Every American citizen has the right to protect and defend themselves, and every American citizen should be armed and know how to defend themselves against intruders and against people who seek to do them harm, period.
Amen. Amen, right? Yes, sir. I couldn't have said it better, so I'm just going to play that video when it was sent to me by Eric. And I love that. Because I put a bottle in my baby's mouth and grabbed my shotgun.
There you go.
But is that a case for stand your ground or what?
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, she lost her husband to cancer. It sounded like on Christmas weekend. I don't know. I didn't catch which state it was in. I imagine Oklahoma. So I don't know if Oklahoma has stand your grounds, because they said you had to get them into the house, and that's the way it used to be here in the Dakotas too.
Right.
Now we have stand your ground, and you can use deadly force, all force necessary to defend yourself and your property. So kudos to her. It's a happy ending of the week. We got one assailant is assumed room temperature, and the other one gave up and surrendered. So guess what? More guns, less crime, right? Mr.
There you
John
go.
Law Jr. But yeah. Go ahead. I know you were going to jump in something. I cut you off there.
Oh, no. That's perfectly. I got to go all echoey in here again. I don't know what's going on with that. But anyway, YouTube's messing with me again. No, she did absolutely right. She was absolutely doing what she was, to protect her kids. I mean, and that's what they were coming after. Her husband had cancer. He died. They knew there were drugs still there left over.
Absolutely.
They took the opportunity. Who knew what they were going to do? They might not want to leave any witnesses, and they probably wouldn't have left the baby alive either. Of course, Lord knows if they killed the mom, how long the baby would have lasted there by themselves. I mean,
right.
You got to do what you got to do. You protect your family. You protect your kids. You protect yourself. And, the first thing they want to say is that all the leftists don't want to say out loud most of the time, but they do, is they don't want women to have guns. They don't want women to have guns. They don't want minorities to have guns. They want all those taken away. And then, of course, it's all us bad white guys,
but they really don't want anybody to have guns except themselves. That's basically, they don't want anybody having the freedom or the Second Amendment right. I mean, that's the gun grabbers are getting to the point where they're actually telling you that now. They used to some of them, we want them all, and they do. That's the true statement. They do. first time they ever talked the truth about it. A lot of them.
Yeah.
They still got the other ones, but yeah. So anyway, that's the happy ending. I thought that was a pretty good one. And yeah, thanks, Eric, for sending that, because I thought that was a great segment.
Yep.
So what we got going on, a couple things here. Of course, I will be on Friday, Mitchell in the morning. Jamie, if you're listening, Mike, he had a scheduling faux pas. So if you could join me, great. If you can't, I'll get a hold of Corey. I know Corey, he seems like he's getting the hang of that. See if Corey wants to join us. It's only, being they got the stupid twins on, it's not near as long. It comes on now at about 20 to 8. So we don't have near the long segment because you got that crap on there. But so you won't learn anything the first part. You'll learn about a bunch of guys who like to kneel during the national anthem at the new stadium and then throw a ball around. But after that, tune in for Freedom Friday, the beginning of it, and get some real information about the Second Amendment and freedom.
And you should tell Corey, too, that a lot of women listen to the radio early on Friday morning, and that's just another opportunity for him.
That's right. We can get his number out there, right? If you don't know what we're talking about, go look at our Florida episode. You'll know all about what we did there. So, yeah. And then, of course, like I said, that's at 7:40 Mountain Time, 8:40 Central. Remember the time change till the baseball season's over. So, yeah, we will be from now through the summer, 7:40 Mountain and 8:40 Central on Friday. By the way, Jamie's got a little segment coming up, like we were just talking about, 701 Nation this Friday. So what a way to end the day. Start off with us in the morning, and in the evening at 8 o'clock p.m. Central, 7 o'clock Mountain. Dakota Prairie Outdoors host Scott Buckmeyer will be joining Jamie, and they're going to talk about the Model 701. No, there's no such thing. They're just saying, what is the best gun for North Dakotans if you could have one for anything from prairie dogs, coyotes, all the way up to mule deer. So
there you go.
Tune in for that. I think that's going to be a great segment. And then next Wednesday, of course, right here, same place, except CommiTube. They've nixed us unless we'll see. I'll peel it. Last time I was successful and they put us back on. We'll see what happened. I wouldn't count on it. Join us over at Rumble or any place else where you found us here. And we'll try to put something on our social media sites, letting everybody know that there are alternatives. We don't need CommiTube.
Right.
We really don't. And then, of course, Friday again in the Mitchell in the morning. And then we have drinks with the 701. It sounds like me and you're going to join Jamie and the boys.
Right.
And
that's my plan.
And I'll tell you what, I watched that last one. That was great. I thought they did a great job with that and a lot of fun. So join us there. So we got a lot of things going on. We'll try to get those videos like Mike was saying. We'll get the badass uploaded to the social platforms. And yeah, I think we're going to just have a
share them all over. That's what I said. Share them all over.
Share them. Yep, absolutely. So anything you want to add from there, Mike?
No, I'm pretty good on everything, and we're all good to go. And I had a great time tonight. So yeah.
Yeah. If you all up over there you go. There you go. There's our donation code. I think I got, I don't know what happened. We had a guy try to order a sweatshirt. I couldn't see anything in the system that prevented that. So I will email him back. That's how he was contacting us.
Right.
And take care of it personally. And we thank him for purchasing and supporting Guns on the 701. But right there, you can do the donation, or guys, you can just hit the store, and we got a whole bunch of things on there: caps, shirts, patches, stickers, a lot of great stuff on there. We even got stuff on there for ladies. So go hit that gunsonthe701.com. Just hit the store. It's right at the top of the webpage. You can't miss it. And order something up. Get your gear now. I mean, what better time to get it out there so you wear a great T-shirt this summer or something like that. So
there you go.
All right. Well, we're at 8:40 Central. So I think it's about time to call the show. JD says, good show, guys. I'll catch the first half on the podcast tomorrow. Appreciate that. And I'll get that uploaded here sometime this evening. I won't be doing it right away tonight. I got a couple other things I need to do, including checking cattle. So
that's right.
And hopefully not this Friday, but the following Friday, you're going to be back on Mitchell in the morning?
Yeah, the following Friday I will be. I will be back to normal.
It'll be back to normal. So Mike will be joining us in 2 weeks back on Mitchell in the morning. So tune in there. But if Jamie can't do it on Friday, I'm definitely going to ask Corey. And I know Corey's been filling in and doing a great job. So we appreciate Corey doing that. All right, guys. Thank you very much for listening, hanging in there, switching over to Rumble, and supporting the show. And if you want to donate, if you want to sponsor, just get a hold of us, gunsonthe701.com. 701.com. Guns at gunsinthe701.com is our email address. And of course, we got the donation link right up there. With that, everybody have a great rest of the week. And we'll see everybody next week.